This is the key to success. Learning how to create content, learning how to do a call to action, learning how to get better people in your inbox. Like, how many of us want to capture some leads, but high quality leads, people that actually have some money, they have some desire, like they're serious. They really want to improve their results, whether that's financial results, health results, maybe they want to look younger, feel better. We're going to have a conversation today that I think is really going to help a lot of you, because Brian coaches a lot of top earners and works with different leaders in different companies and people that are, by the way, brand new. He retired from network marketing to teach, to train, to coach, to help people just like you.
I, like everybody else, started on Instagram way back in the days, and probably did everything you weren't supposed to do, right? Like the whole follow trains, posting over on Facebook, like, hey, follow me on Instagram. Yeah. I went the route. I like to be transparent. I bought followers, as I'm sure many did, to try to make us look a lot cooler than we were. And then I just let it sit for about 3.5 years and really didn't do much and focused 100% of my efforts on Facebook. But like I said, man, I just think Instagram, the platform, has evolved. There's a lot of opportunity there for all caliber of network marketers, whether you're just starting out or whether you're already a six-figure earner or anywhere in between. There's opportunity for you there. And it just excites me, man. It just excites me.
Yeah. And what are you seeing right now? What are the strategies? You said something about carousel, obviously reels. Is it B-roll? Is it short form, talking head type videos? Like, what are you seeing that's working really well for people?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, but a fun one, right? Obviously Reels has been the number one traffic generator, someone who wants to get in front of more people, increase visibility. I think that one of the biggest challenges, John, you probably agree, you and Nadia see this, is the folks who are maybe not quite yet making six figures or want to make six figures in this space, they lack visibility. They lack new people to talk to. And so when I think of something like Reels, right, that's the number one, challenge that I feel most. I've run out of people to talk to, coach. Well, are you doing Reels? Are you doing any form of video or short form video? Well, no. Well, why not? It's the number one tool. By the way, John, right? I think it's free still, doing Reels and TikToks. And yeah. I think it's free. Yeah. It's free. So what does that mean? It comes down to skills, right? Are you open and willing to improve a handful of skills to get better at short form video? I mean, you're talking to the guy that back in junior college, John, I was scared beyond scared, shivering in the back of a speech class with only 10 people in it, afraid to do a flippin' speech on baseball, which I played professional baseball for 8 years, right? Like something I just know like the back of my hand. I was scared to do a 30-second speech with note cards in front of 10 people. Done over 2,000 videos now, and I think you've probably done something similar, thousands of videos. So incredible opportunity. Reels, the simplest, fastest, most efficient way to get visible.
What would be some of your advice for people that are, for whatever reason, afraid to put themselves on camera? Like, how important is it for someone to show their face? If they want to grow a following, generate leads, how important is it?
Yeah, I think it's critical. I think is the right word, critical. We're in the people business, right? No matter what product you sell, you might be selling lotion, you might be selling, selling skincare, you might be selling water machines. It doesn't matter what you're selling, right? People want to put a face to the name. I think I kind of chuckle at times, John, because we saw like this. Again, I think faceless has its place. Yeah. On something like Instagram, faceless accounts. But last year, I know that was a big thing for about 6 months. But then I think we've all reverted back to it's important to put a face to the name. And so, my biggest encouragement for those watching, if you're not doing something like Reels, is number one, press play. Number two, every master was once a beginner. Number three, keep it short and sweet. I mean, some of the best performing Reels we're seeing right now are 4 to 8 seconds long. Of course, little B-roll clips. I would highly suggest that you don't just make 1 8-second clip, that you make it into 2 to 3 second clips that comprise to be 8 seconds. That's a little ninja tip for you guys. Why? Because we all are big fans of movies. Maybe there's some Netflix viewers here. What happens every 3, 4, 5 seconds when you're watching a movie or a Netflix show? The scene changes. Yep. So that's just something simple you can implement right away. And then one of the things, John, I'll kick it back to you, is something I've adopted at the start of this year, 2025, is to increase my number of talking head reels. That's what I call them, talking head reels, where I'm actually face to camera talking. Those are going to be your more longer form videos. When I say longer form, 30 to 60 seconds is typically where I like to stay. I push towards the 30-second mark. I feel like I can keep their attention for 30 seconds. Once you start getting towards the 60 seconds, it requires more skill. We'll just call it that. But, I'm personally doing anywhere from 3 to 4 talking head reels per week right now, incorporated into my overall reel strategy.
How often are you posting?
Well, I'm crazy. Most people are not crazy. So I want to put things in perspective. Everyone watching this probably has different expectations, different goals, different time commitments you're open and willing to do. But, if I'm someone who's watching this and I'm like, you know what, Coach Fryer, you know what, John, I am serious about growing on Instagram, then my suggestion is you need to put out one piece of content a day. Maybe that's a reel today. Maybe that's a carousel tomorrow. Maybe that's a reel the next day. That would be my simple suggestion. What does Coach Fryer currently do? I put 2 to 3 pieces of content out every single day. Typically, that's 2 reels per day and 1 carousel. Now, some of you might be saying, well, oh my gosh, John, Coach, I don't have time. 2 reels a day? That's flipping crazy. Well, here's my simple strategy. Once every 2 weeks, I block out an hour and a half on my calendar and I just batch create as many reels as I possibly can. So I really only have to get showered and dressed one day every 2 weeks. I just change shirts a bunch of times and I batch create a bunch of them and then I just schedule them out. It's not that difficult.
Imagine if over time you had like a library of content, right? Like 500 reels, 1,000 reels, 2,000 reels one day that you have saved in a database that you can repurpose when maybe you don't have time to make new content. Maybe when it's a certain time of year, whatever. Like for instance, if you make a bunch of like Christmas content, right? You could use that every holiday season, especially the stuff that's just really funny that could be evergreen for that purpose. Okay. So this is what's so powerful about creating these short form videos. Like you said, 8 seconds, 2 seconds, 9 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. I guess I'd also like to ask, Brian, do you recommend for people that are starting off with the talking head videos to use scripts, to be scripted? I hear some people teaching that, some don't. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's no right or wrong answer. I'll say that first, because there's probably people watching this right now. They're like, oh, I would be way more comfortable, Coach or John, if I had a simple script to follow. And listen, I totally get that. But here is where I would probably challenge you for those that are thinking that way. I have found over the years that scripted stuff, if you need to use a script to kind of get things going and help you overcome that initial block of putting some content together and formulating the right words and say what you want to say, totally fine. Do that. I can remember back when I was doing Facebook Live videos when they first started, I would put a little sticky note above my phone just to write down a couple of quick notes to make sure I stayed on track. So, if that's something you guys need to do, do it. But here's where I'll challenge you. The sooner you can move away from scripted, the better, in my opinion. Why? Because it's more organic. I'm currently interviewing one person a week on my Instagram. John, I know you interview, 2, 3 people a week nowadays. You guys are just smashing it. But, people always ask me, well, okay, yeah, I'll be open to interview you to interview me. But, what are you going to ask me? What questions are you going to do? And I always say, well, this is just going to be an organic conversation. It's unfiltered. It's just organic. And people relate most to that.
Could you touch on what's happening next Tuesday? Because I know there's going to be more elaboration on all of this as well.
Lead gen. I mean, I'll just give you guys a quick example and then kind of give you the parameters on this and how you can literally follow suit. John, I posted a reel yesterday morning and it didn't have millions of views. Heck, it didn't even have tens of thousands of views, John. I think it had 3,000 views. So just put this in perspective. I posted a reel yesterday morning, about 3,000 views, and I generated over 100 leads before noon. So when we talk about the power of this, well, Coach Fryer, how do you do that? What did you do? Where do I start? I want to give you guys a couple of quick, tangible things to literally implement immediately following this live. Number one, instead of focusing on what type of content you need to create, what call to actions, what do I need to say, what, I would challenge you to identify the who, especially on Instagram. Who exactly do you want to help? Who do you want to watch your reel? I think this is a big challenge for most. They get so caught up and overwhelmed with what do I create? What do people want? What? And they bypass the who. So think about who first, okay? I want to give you the second tip to this. This is just something I did about 6 to 8 months ago that you guys can literally do immediately following this live, okay? Once you identify who this person is, go to Instagram, tap on the search bar, and literally type in that person. So for example, I typed in Instagram growth for beginners because I wanted to serve those who are just getting started on Instagram that wanted to learn how to grow. You know what came up? The top viral content, reels and carousels right there at the top of the thing right there. And it was very easy for me to say, okay, look at this carousel had 1,000 shares. Obviously, Instagram growth for beginners and this specific topic, this hook responded very, very well for Instagram beginners. How can I model this, put my own spin on it, go recreate it? Mm-hmm. So that's something simple. You want to talk about generating leads. That's where I would suggest starting versus going out there and just creating reels of what you think people might want to hear. Figure out who first, go to the search bar, figure out the top pieces of content right now, go recreate in your own fashion, whether it's a B-roll reel, a carousel, a talking head reel, wham, bam, lead gen at its finest.
What's happening on Tuesday? Can you talk a little bit about this virtual event?
Man, I tell you what, something pretty cool is happening on Tuesday. I consider it one of the biggest free virtual events of the year for the network marketing space. My good buddy Rob Sperry and I are fortunate enough to have speakers like yourself, John, and about a dozen others come in, the industry's best. It's going to be a one-day virtual event. It's absolutely free. It's called the Elite Impact Summit. It will be from 11 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. There's an opportunity to grab the recordings and stuff like that in case you can't make it live. But I would encourage, John, I think you got a link for them to get registered. Yeah. Once you get registered, you'll be prompted to jump into our free Facebook group. I think there's almost 3,000 people already in this group, which is crazy awesome. The event will be live. We'll just highly encourage you guys to get registered, no matter what your rank, no matter what your level of income or what your aspirations are in this space. We're going to focus on three things: how to recruit runners, how to grow your team faster, and how to hit the top ranks. If any of those three things are of interest to you and you're in the network marketing direct sales space, you got to be there. The event itself is free, and highly encourage you guys, comment the word elite, and their team will get you that link to get registered.
And then also the link, if you guys are also want to write it down yourself, it's mylifestyleacademy.com/elite. If you're watching the replay, guess what? It's already in the description for you. So there you go. mylifestyleacademy.com/elite. Also, we're going to turn this into a podcast. So if you're hearing this, again, mylifestyleacademy.com/elite. It'll be in the description notes as well. But I love what Brian and Rob do. They always are really elevating the profession in a professional way. They're not teaching like sleazy tactics or anything that's going to turn you into an infomercial, right, for your company. They're all about list building, attraction marketing, but also doing the things that you have to do to grow a real business and recruit and develop yourself into a leader. The only way to build a real business in this space, especially right now, because things are more difficult. I'm not going to sit here and deny the fact that there's a lot of social media platforms. There's a lot of content creators out there. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of distraction. But this is why we keep calling this separation season, right? Because listen, if it's harder for you to get attention, it's harder for you to get views, content to go viral, leads, conversions, whatever, guess what? It's harder for your competitors too. So this isn't a time to feel sorry for yourself or get bitter. You want to get what? Better. And this is the way to do it. Investing in yourself, taking the time. And I wouldn't just do the free option. I always think when you pay attention. So whatever else they have for recordings, VIP, anything that they're offering, you could do free 99, right? And just tune in for free. But I think you should ultimately upgrade or do whatever you can to invest in yourself, in your education, and learning from the best. Like, these are people, not just Brian and Rob, but they've got some of the best leaders in the entire world that are all in different companies that are teaching you what's working best right now.
Get it done. Get registered. Get your ticket. Get in the group. Let's roll.